What I do believe in, though, is I do believe it has to look professional. And what can turn someone off really quickly, I mean, there's two sides of it, and I'll tell you. When I read a script and the formatting is not correct, it's distracting. So it makes for a hard read, and it does look unprofessional at times. Like you said, when there's blocks and chunks of paragraphs, and they're never broken up, you know.
Exactly.
Formatting's all over the place. First impressions do mean something. On the other hand, as a reader, I have to look past that too. I was reading one, it was exactly like that. The formatting, person didn't know how to format worth anything. But once I was able to get through that and read the story, it was a really good story. But what I'm afraid of, there's certain people who probably put that down long before they really figured out it was a really good story.
Exactly.
So that's why the writer, you do have to, you know, I'm sorry, but you do have to learn some of that, and you have to, you know, I would never throw away a script because there's 3 Brads. I would just never do that, but
that's crazy, though.
you know, it is really crazy, but there are first impressions by people, and you have to hope that if you made those mistakes, people are going to get past some typos. I'm like number 1 typo. I can't catch my own. I can catch other people. But, you know, I've had people, other readers react like that. You know, first page, you know, it's all full of typos and formatting, and they'll never get to page 2.
In your opinion, how much weight does a logline hold?
It could be your first introduction. When we get people pitching us at the management company, the first thing we look at is the logline. So if you don't have a compelling logline that interesting, original, and has some indication of some tension there, then, you know, we just go on to the next. If I can't understand your logline, then I'm on to the next. And 90% of people don't know how to do a logline, and they put a tagline instead, which is very different.
Exactly.
And which amazes me because it says there logline. And somehow they misinterpret that. But that is your first introduction in some ways to me, or to a producer. So, you know, it is important. You know, you put that in a query letter. You're just trying to grab their interest right away. Oh, that sounds like a great concept. Oh, okay. You know, I want to hear more. You want them to say, I want to hear more. I want to hear more. Give me more. But I don't believe there's one log line. I mean, I believe you could play around with a couple and see what fits best and what works best. And what's problematic to me sometimes when I struggle with that for a writer, when we do coverage, we create a log line for them, is that when the story isn't very clear.
Right.
And then creating a log line becomes a lot harder.
You see, now that's a totally different process than what the original writer has to go through, because, you know, part of the process is telling a writer, you know, come up with that great log line. Sit around thinking about that log line, and when you got that down, start using that as a stepping stone or a building block for your story. And then, you know, some of these, a lot of people are on that. You know, okay, I got this really cool log line, and I really created this really awesome story based on that. But on your end, what you're saying, based on what you're telling me right now, is, you know, you're now reading the entire script and now have this whole script in your head, and now you have to do exactly what we shouldn't do, which is create a logline based on knowledge of the story. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, going into it, I would go into it nowadays saying, I have no idea what the story's going to be about, but it's a man on a mission with this and that and blah, blah, blah. You know, and then I can go from there.
Sometimes I'll get a log line in a script from a writer, and his log line isn't delivered. They don't, you know, deliver the promise of the premise, meaning that their story isn't about their log line, okay? Or they give me a story, and it's very difficult to create a log line because there's not a clear goal in the story. On the other hand, I'm saying that sometimes you could have more than one log line for a script. If you go online, there's, you know, movies that have been produced, and you'll read different log lines or different, you know, descriptions of that film. I do believe the log line could be your very first introduction to getting your script read.